Today, I want to talk about how to sit properly in a chair. And this is going to help out your posture, and this is going to make sitting not as miserable. The reason why I want to talk about this today is because I've been doing a lot more sitting than I normally do. And I'm sitting in chairs that aren't very, very comfortable. And I'm like, man, there's got to be a better way. And I just started to think about my anatomy and how to optimize my sitting position, because I want my back to feel good. I want to be able to move and to lift and to do whatever I want to do without having to, warm up for 20 minutes before I pick something up. So how are we going to sit in a chair? Well, I've got a chair here, and the basics behind sitting in a chair to help keep your back strong and to help keep your posture is we've got to sit all the way back. Okay, so I'm trying to sit all the way back. Most chairs a lot of chairs, they even have like a little rest for your lower back, which is going to help. It's going to kind of push in this position. This one doesn't necessarily have that, but what I can do is I can just lean back. Well, one thing about this chair is it's a little low for someone like myself. I'm a little tall for this chair. So what we want is we want our legs, our knees to be bent at a 90-degree angle. It's going to make it easier for you to keep your back, this lumbar area, in a nice lordosis, okay, which is the curve in the low back. I don't have much of a curve there, but I don't want it to be like this. This is the bad posture that we see, and that starts with the lower back. So if I am in this position and I start doing this and doing this, number one, for me, I found that my butt gets really uncomfortable. Okay, my tailbone starts to rub against the seat, and I'm always trying to do all this or do all these different positions and things like that. So what you want to do is find a chair that is a little bit higher. Like I have this pad. This actually makes it now perfect. So now I'm in this position, I'm 90 degrees, maybe a little bit higher than 90 degrees, and I can sit in this position for a very long time. My hips are all the way back, I can be here, and then again, I can just hang out here if I want to get a little support as we go. So again, a lot of chairs have something. You can even put something underneath your lower back to hold you in that position. Well, you still might get uncomfortable being in this position because your butt gets laminated to the seat. So moving around, wiggling around, okay, helps, but just standing up, just kind of shaking things out, stretch, and then coming back down, and you'll find that it's going to be comfortable again. So the big takeaways from sitting in a chair is you want to be 90 degrees here, you want your hips all the way back, your feet relatively flat. Okay, again, if I start creeping my feet out in front, look what happens. Look what happened to my lower back when I did that. Every action in physics, there's a reaction. I acted here, I start to sit back more, and then my back goes, okay? If I bring my feet underneath me a little bit more, that's not too bad. This is kind of where I sit sometimes as well, okay? But then you can add, extra movement and things, which I don't think is a bad thing. But we just want to watch for the bad posture happening. When we start crossing our legs and doing things, that tends to then lead to, bad posture. It's okay to sit here for a minute or two, but we don't want to be there for very long. So the big takeaway is sit all the way back in the seat, find a chair or find a pad that's going to allow you to be at 90 degrees or higher. If it's too low, okay, we tend to be like this, right? Too small of a chair, we're here. So those are some tips. It's helped me tremendously. I feel so much better now when I have to sit for an hour, hour and a half. I'm not as uncomfortable when I'm done with that sitting session because I'm able to keep myself up in good posture. And if you're struggling to just hold yourself up and you really need support, just practice this for short periods of time, and over time you will strengthen those postural muscles. They're muscles that need to be worked constantly if you're sitting constantly. So you've got to strengthen them. And again, a full body training program, like I show in some of my videos, where you're hitting head to toe your muscles. You got to work your whole body, because if you leave one stone unturned, right? If you're not working your back muscles, your butt muscles, your hip flexors, all these different types of things, you're not going to be able to get yourself in positions. And you're gonna be pulled out of those positions. So again, if all you're doing all day is sitting in bad posture and you're not exercising, it's gonna make it even harder for you to sit with good posture. But just practicing that helps. I've made other videos on using a band to hold yourself in a position in a seat. But this is something that if you don't have that, or if you don't want that, or if you don't want to, mess up your clothes by putting a band around your waist and your knees, then just try sitting in that position with your hips all the way back, your knees pretty much at 90 degrees, having a good height, and just keeping that back in a nice safe position. That's all I got for you today.